Good morning and welcome to Morning Coach Today. I am so glad you're with us. Hey, it's JB and it is the 22nd of May. You know what that means. It's going to be an awesome day. Double deuces today. It's the 22nd and it's a Monday. So that's going to give us great energy to get going this week. Excited. Episode 4973 as we're counting down right around my birthday. Looks like it's going to be the day after my birthday, the 5,000. I think it's a Sunday. We're going to see how that plays out. Super excited about that. I was trying to do the math. It's hard, but we're going to make sure somehow, some way it ends up on my birthday. We'll make that happen because it looks like it's going to be right there, which is exciting times. Got a big week planned. Remember, group coaching today. Don't want to miss that. It's 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Go over to the community, click on the meetup, and you can come in. There's a lot of stuff we're talking about. We're getting into ILD concepts, really getting this, kind of this advisor business idea, thought process, and again, expertise process. It's so awesome. That can really create freedom. And then obviously among other things that we do, but excited about today's coaching. So hopefully you'll get a chance to stop in and see us. This week, we've got a big week. We're going to talk about dealing with difficult people. We're going to talk about lack of support. I've been getting some emails and questions about that. So we're going to go over that. Tomorrow, we're going to keep going with our book study, 3 chapters. Again, that's that trade craft of elite advisors. And these are techniques for creating a remarkable practice. But there's so many things I'm taking out of this book, just awesome. Wednesday, we're talking about building support around you, important metaphysical concept. How do you get that support? Thursday, Ask JB, and we're really going to get into this idea when someone loves you and doesn't support you, what do you do? I mean, it's a challenge. We've all been there. What are some things that we can do? Friday, we've got where you focus and how you focus with others. And I mentioned this in a couple coach casts about being the doctor. I'll explain that on Friday. Saturday, we're going to go through SIRS system, which I love. We will talk about those trainers and those maintainers just as a reminder. And then Sunday, praying for those that we feel don't deserve. This is a big one again. A lot of great topics this week as we delve in to this kind of the last couple weeks of May. Crazy how fast it's going, but we're hitting the summer pretty hard. And it's going to be a great summer because we're going to be doing ILD expertise and ILD. The next few months, we're going to be rocking. And I've got some deep dives into the planner and really making sure you're utilizing that properly and some deep dives as we are launching Morning Coach 5.0 as we get closer and closer to that launch. So super pumped that you're with me. The truth is that, it can be difficult dealing with people. People can be a pain. I always make the joke that business would be so much easier if you didn't have to deal with people. But we can also find great people, and it's making sure that those few people that hold you down aren't really, keeping us from our greatness or keeping us from living our best life. And we all allow that once in a while. We all allow those people once in a while that come into our lives and really slow us down from anchor us from being our great or finding our greatness. And it's hard, and Thursday we're going to get into this, especially when those people that love you, right? And so it's like they love you and it seems like they're just hampering your progress. But yet they don't really get you. You aren't on the same level. And again, Thursday, I want to hit this really hard, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time on it today. We're going to talk about that. What do you do when somebody loves you and doesn't support you? Really get into that. But the truth is, in the world today, there are going to be haters, okay? There are going to be people that are jealous. There's going to be people that have animosity. That's just the nature of the world we live in, especially in the social media world. You see why there's so much imposter syndrome, right? Imposter syndrome is this idea that I will be found out because people are posting all this stuff on social, but is it their real life? Are they really happy? Are they really enjoying life and doing the things they want to do? And what you'll find is the majority of the people really aren't. And that's why they need that validation. That's why they need to put it out on social. That's why they need to tell their friends. That's why they need to tell their family. That's why they need to tell you is because they just don't have that true peace or that true joy. And so they're doing it through these other means, whether it's a car, whether it's watches, whether it's whatever it is that they can try to figure out a way that they can feel good about their life and they can feel good about things that are going on. And people in general are very, very competitive. As much as we don't want to be competitive. I personally like competition, but a lot of people don't, right? And they say they're not, but they are. And this idea of the keeping up with the Joneses has built, car companies. It has built so many different things. You look at the imports of Mercedes and BMWs, and I buy BMWs. So I have a BMW. So I'm raising my hand that it does feel good to drive a nice car, right? But it's this idea that you got to keep up with the Joneses, that you got to get one up somebody. And not everybody's like that, but a lot of people are. And they're competitive, right? They're competitive. There's an old saying that I've been saying since I started Morning Coach, and that is that people in this country, or people anywhere nowadays, it seems like, want you to be successful, just not more successful than them. And so I have found that even more so here in this small town of LaPorte, Indiana. As I'm looking in Florida and trying to figure out, what's the gateway back. I was laughing last week. I told you that I was laughing because some of the more inexpensive properties, and I'm just looking for a few months to go down there, January, February, March, April, and maybe a little bit of, maybe November a little bit, but I'd like to, this is such a cool area for Christmas. I was laughing with my cousin because I was like, man, all these dang people they're 55 and older, they can get in these communities and they can get these less expensive properties, and they don't have to deal with the kids and the noise, and it seems like such a good deal, but they're all so much older. And I started laughing because I'm turning 54 next month. So literally in 13 months, I'll be 55 and I can get one of those 55 or older communities. Pretty crazy how fast time goes. It's kind of funny too, because I was complaining about it. I'm like, these damn old people. Wait a minute, I'm one of those people. So it is hilarious. It's hilarious. But people in general, they want you to be successful, just not more successful than them. And I see it like as the power, as the lines of wealth, are different. Like when I was in Florida, there were a lot of people that obviously had built businesses and were doing things. I was on the golf course a lot. Here in Indiana, where I'm at, in a small town, like my family was blue collar, but I went out and built an ILD life, and a lot of people haven't yet. So they don't like people like me. It's not that they don't like, they're just kind of jealous, right? They don't understand. And it's been a real challenge for me because I'm not used to that. Right? I'm used to going and talking about, hey, I'm working on the airplane, or, I'm working on my pilot's license, or we're launching, Morning Coach 5.0, and, I'm working on my 5th book, and I'm trying to come up with heavy as a crown as a king. And, I'm having these conversations. And one of the things I recognized is I can't have those conversations with certain people because certain people are angry. They're really frustrated with that, and they become difficult. And they look at you in a different way. And again, we talked about this last week. I don't care, but I care because I want to be a leader. I want to help people and support them to that next level. And some of these people don't want to be there, right? They just don't want. And they're angry at you because you've worked hard or you've come up with something intellectually to be able to generate revenue. Now, I understand it from a little bit of a certain standpoint where I talk about people that have inherited money. There's a lot of people that have inherited money, especially in this town, and haven't worked. And so it creates this really ugly kind of connection between people. Because these are people that are going to work every day, or, maybe not working every day, but trying to work and do labor jobs. And then there's a group of people that they've inherited their house and stuff from their parents, and they don't need to work, right? So I can see how that's frustrating. And then somebody like me comes in town that owns a business, has built everything myself, and is continually building, and it's talking about airplanes and talking about how do I, get an airplane? How do I do this? And they're angry, right? They're frustrated because they don't see a way to do it. They don't see a way to access that in their limited education. I love them. I don't have a problem with it. What I've had to do is step back and realize that when you're dealing with different people, different types of people, you really have to be careful of the conversations you're having. And that's one of the reasons that I love masterminds now. Because when I'm around masterminds, mine, whether people come in from out of town, which we had a few weeks ago, or I go to them, I can have a different conversation. I can talk about my airplanes, and getting my pilot's license. I can talk about buying new golf clubs. I can share different things with them than I can when I'm here locally at a particular social occasion. I have to be very cautious about the things that I'm saying. Not that I care. Again, it's not that important. I just don't want difficult people in my life, right? And for the first time in my life, I've never seen it the way it is. It's really weird out there. So it's almost like you have to play the game. You have to understand the game. You have to have that self-awareness we talked about last week so you know what the situations you're in, especially as you start to create affluence and you start to build things, or even just have a discussion about building a business. It's funny. The guys that I play Dungeons and Dragons with that I grew up with, I love them to death. One's a union laborer, and he has no clue of what I do, electrician. I think it's fantastic. He does real well. It's awesome. But he has no clue of what I do and has a total different mentality than I do when it comes to business. He can't stand businesses. He can't stand companies. He can't stand anything to do with them. He thinks they're evil, right? They take advantage of people. He doesn't see it as people creating opportunities for others. He sees them as taking advantage. They don't pay enough. These are evil companies. And that's his mentality, right? And then he's around other electricians, and so cognitive dissonance comes in. So when I start talking about entrepreneurship and I start talking about building business and internet businesses and all these wonderful things, he gets frustrated. He gets angry. Really, he does. And, it's not like I can sit down and try to educate him because he's never seen it. Right? He's never seen anything like this. And a lot of people haven't seen what I do, so it makes it even challenging. So you have to play the game. And this is where I'm saying you have to have a higher consciousness. You don't have to care. You don't have to care what other people think. You don't have to care. But you should be able to show up and be able to understand the dynamic and the social dynamic you're in. Very hard for me with my energy. Very hard because I like to talk about the things that I'm excited about. But I've realized I have to hold that back here. And it's why I personally need to get out of here sometimes and go to other places where I can be around other people that are thinking about different things. They're thinking about business and they're thinking about, what's the next big thing and how can they change their life and how can they leave a legacy instead of being around people that just don't have that thought process. And again, nothing negative about anybody. I'm trying to reach my potential. I'm trying to have fun and be at peace and grow and develop and continue to move forward. No matter how much money I accumulate, it's not about that. It's about the joy of creation. And that's why when we're dealing with difficult people, we just keep creating. And there's going to be times when you have those haters. And there's nothing you can do about it. And you'll see me self-sabotage sometimes, even with YouTube and stuff. I stop doing videos because I get concerned, right? And that's what happens. You don't realize it consciously. You're doing it subconsciously because you just want to make sure you're bringing good energy to the world. And that's what I'm always looking on, is focusing on good energy. So in order for me to deal with the difficult people in the world, and even those that are closest to me, I've got to find the stimulation of others. That's why I've always said the group coaching, the things we're adding here at Morning Coach are so important, because I know, just from my own perspective, I need to get around different thinkers. And the people within this community and the people that have joined us in the coaching programs and work with us have a different way of thinking. And that different way of thinking lends credence to the energy that I'm putting into things. And it helps me have an outlet and express my creativity instead of feeling negative, right? So this week, we're going to talk about dealing with difficult people. All week, we're going to talk about some of the things you can do. We're going to talk about when them loved ones, what do you do, But you got to realize you've got to continue to build this self-awareness. As I started last week explaining that it's one of the most important things we can do. Because when we're self-aware of the way we're showing up and what we're saying, we can flip the narrative. We can change that so that we can at least be at peace. And we can make everybody around us at least feel adequate without making people feel inadequate. And I never want you to change for other people. That's not what it's about. But it's about posture and presence. You want to be the person that walks into the room. We're going to talk about that a lot. And everybody respects. And you know that. And there are going to be haters. It is. And the higher level of success you get, the more hate you get. I just want you to understand that. Especially when you do stuff like this. You put yourself out there. The higher level of success you get, the more haters you'll get. In fact, there's that old saying that, people at the beginning, they kind of laugh at you. They laugh at you. What are you doing? What do you think you could be a podcaster? What do you think you could start Morning Coach? 15 minutes a day, you could change somebody's life? Are you crazy? That's what I used to get, right? Then they get scared. And this is where they're angry. This is where they're frustrated with you because they're thinking, oh my gosh, it may happen. This guy may make it. Now what am I going to do with it? This guy may make it. Now they're frustrated, right? And that's where a lot of people are at. And then they want to be you. Then they want to be you because they see the life you have, and that's where you can really start influencing because people start to see you and they want to be you so you can influence them at that level. So it happens. And some people, the timing's just off. And you got to realize that. So you got to keep creating. You got to believe in yourself. Keep working on your self-awareness and keep building self-reliance. You're going to hear a lot of talk about self-reliance, being able to handle it yourself. And it's tough. Believe me, it's very lonely out there. And it's why groups of people and being able to connect with others are so important. And hopefully today, you'll be able to come with us and go in the community, click that meetup button and see us live because we're going to have some fun. We're going to be talking about all kinds of stuff. And it'd be great just to connect with you. Okay? So let's get out there and have a fantastic day. Tomorrow we're back on our book study. We're going to keep rocking and rolling right here at Morning Coach. But it's a great week. It's 22nd. It's going to be a great week. I promise you. So do it to it, and I'll be back with more right here tomorrow on morningcoach.com.